Hey guys, welcome back to another solution video. In this video, we are targeting the lab code GSP662, which stands for hosting a web app on Google Cloud using Compute Engine. So let's start the lab. Launch with one credit. Let your credentials get generated. Copy the password. Right click on this and open it in private window. It automatically captures your email, which is temporary. And paste the password we just copied. And hit I understand. Check this box. Hit agree and continue. You can click on this icon and open the cloud shell. Otherwise, you can also type G then S on your keyboard. G then S. G for giraffe. S for skateboard. Now click on continue. Let your cloud shell provision for your let your cloud shell get provision for you. There you go. Now come to task number one. We need to enable this API. Copy this command, come back here, paste this. So we are just enabling the Compute Engine API. Hit authorize. And you need to specify a regions and zone as well, which is given in the setups and requirements area. So we missed it, so we'll do that again. This is basically optional, so you can do this, but I'll go with this region part. So follow my steps only. We'll just set the region and zone. Hit enter, and then copy the first command again. And it should say us that the API was already enabled, something like that. And if it doesn't say like that, it's still okay. So we'll proceed. Now we need to create a cloud storage bucket. Bucket is more like a storage area on Google Cloud. So this is the syntax GS util. MB stands for make bucket, and this is the general syntax for the bucket. And this project ID is basically getting captured from this dev shell. The project ID is mentioned over here. So let's check my progress for this task. You get a green tick. Assessment is completed. Now we are going to copy the app which is stored in this repo, GitHub repo. As you can see, we are hosting a web app on Google Cloud using Compute Engine. So this web app is present somewhere in this code. Okay, so we'll copy this, paste it over here, hit enter. Now let's go into this directory. CD stands for change directory. Basically Linux commands. So if I enter ls, it will list the items within this directory. So this is the project files. Now get back to the instructions. So let's run this setup file, which will locally run the app. I install all the dependencies as well. Please wait while this app is getting built, and we are running it locally. So it is installing all the dependencies and everything. It is just setting up the app properly. So as you can see, the setup is properly completed. Now we need to check whether the Node.js version is properly installed or not. So we'll copy this command over here, and then we have pasted it over here, and then hit enter. It is saying the latest LTS version. LTS stands for long-term support of Node.js. Long-term support of Node.js version 20.18.0 is already installed. Good to go. So we are changing the directory again into this particular folder, which is present in the project, and we are starting the project. So it's a React-based app, so we are using this npm. So yeah, your app is ready, your app is running. This is npm start commands is to start your project. So yeah, all these things are hosted. So you can see the product pages, the product microservice. It means the product page only. So product page is being listed on the port 8082. Then orders page is on this, and the front end part is on this port. So if you come here, you'll see that we can preview our application on this port. So we'll do that. This is the preview icon. We'll click over here. Now you can see that this is the application. Now if we click on products, it won't say anything, and if we go into the orders, it won't say or display anything because we have not set up this products and orders page. So I will get back. We'll enter Control C, hit Control C on the keyboard to exit from this particular area, and we have closed the project and we're back into the development. Now we'll close this window back into C. Yeah, that's the thing that we did. Now we'll create a touch command is basically used to create an empty file. So we are creating a startup script. So whenever our application is starting, it will undergo a script will be run. So yeah, this is the startup script. The name is very self-explanatory. A script which is getting started when we load the application at first. So yeah, navigate to this particular folder. So we need to be inside that folder, and we are inside that folder only. Monolith to microservices. I think not. Okay. Okay, we need to get a step back. ls cd monolith. Yeah, we are at the perfect stage. Copy the same step which I did. So we were inside monolith to microservices, and we are inside this microservices project. So we created a file in this location, which is one step ahead. Then we came back out of this directory, and then we listed the items. This is the project directory. Now we went one step inside this project directory and then listed the items, and we can see that our startup script is properly inside the proper location. This is the location. As you can see, monolith to microservices, this is the location. Now what we need to do is add the following code which is already given, copy this into the startup asset file. How will we do that? You can copy this and copy this, copy this. You can click on open editor, click on that open editor. As you can see, this is the instruction they have given. Copy. Now find the file monolith to microservice. You can see the script. This is empty. So yes, paste it over here. Allow. Now your script is nicely done over here. Now what you need to do is you have to replace this thing, project ID. Remove the brackets as well. Remove this bracket as well. Now you need to paste your project ID. As you can see, replace this text with your project ID. It will be resembling this kind of structure. So yes, we'll paste it over here. Control S. So this is the bucket name. Now we'll save the. It is already saved. We'll press Control S again, and then we'll open terminal. If we click on editor as well, it will be showing like this. So yeah, it is saved properly. Let us be very sure. Perfect. Let's go to the terminal, and then we don't have to close it. Yeah, we need to make sure about one thing as well. The startup script should have this LF thing, that is end of line sequence, to set to LF and not CRLF. So we are pretty much on the right track. It is LF only over here. So now we need to close this startup script, and then we need to return to the Cloud Shell terminal and run the following startup script. We have to copy this code. We have to copy this particular script into our bucket. So we'll copy this, close this, open the terminal, and paste the command which is copied. So what we're doing is, this is the startup script which we created. We copied the code, we went into the editor, we pasted that code into this script, and we saved the script. Now we are copying this file startup script.sh into the bucket which we created in the task number 2. We created a bucket. So in this bucket, our startup script.sh is present now because we have copied it. Now we were over here. Okay, we have copied the file into our bucket. Now what we need to do is copy the cloned code into our bucket. So we'll copy this command, paste it over here. Now let it get completed. Do not click anywhere. Do not press any keyboard button as well. Do not click anywhere. Do not. If you mess up over here, then you need to perform certain steps again and again. So yeah, please be very careful, and we'll just check this progress. It will come as a session completed for sure. This is also done. Now we need to deploy instances and configure the network on which our application is going to be hosted. So yeah, we are currently on the backend part. So we are going to deploy the backend instance. This is a zone which we already configured in the earlier part, and we are using the machine type as E2 standard 2. The tag we have given is backend. It can be anything. It can be a name as well. Tags are optional. And metadata would be related to the startup script, and this would be referring directly to the startup script file which we just created and copied the code. So what will happen, that whenever the application is loaded, the startup script would be triggered and it would be running. So yeah, let's create this instance. Do not click anywhere again. I'm saying do not. Let it get completed everything properly. You can move your mouse here and there as you like, but yeah, please be very careful. Do not make any click event or any key press event as well. Key press, that is, don't press anything on the keyboard. Now we are going to configure the connection to this backend instance which we just created. So copy this. We're just checking whether our proper instance is running or not. It is just listing the instance. Okay, so we created this backend. It's in the zone US East 4A. Machine type is this. And it's running. Perfect, perfect. Let's copy the external IP for the backend. This is the external IP which we'll be getting over here. Yeah, this is the external IP. Copy this. Close this door, and I'll recommend you guys open a notepad as well. So copy this external IP over here because this is going to be handy. Now in the Cloud Shell Explorer, navigate to the monolith to microservices, then React app. Okay, let's we don't need to do CD, sorry, ls cd monolith, perfect, then ls, then we need to go into the React app, cd react, we are into the React app, perfect, perfect. Now what we need to do is, in the code editor, select view, toggle hidden file, you can see in the file. Okay, we are into this directory. You guys need to make sure that you're into this directory, because cross check the steps with what you'll be doing. So open editor, select view, toggle hidden files in order to see the, okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. View, toggle hidden files, perfect. So there would be a file named env .env, that is the environment file, which is basically the environment variables and stuff like that. So we need to find that file. So where is the environment file? In this React app, it would be over here. .env. Yeah. Don't do anything over here. Don't change this file. We have to make changes in this file. Perfect. So we need to make changes in this file. You should be able to cross check. You should be having a structure like this, and you should be matching the structure. And again, I'm saying we have to change this file, not this file, not this .env.monolith. We have to change this file. Now it's saying local, so we are changing the IP address. Getting it? Now we'll be changing the IP address. The port is 8082. That's pretty much basic. So we need to put the backend address. Okay. So where is the backend address? Which you just saved in the notepad. Copy this, come here, paste. Copy this, come here. Oh damn, what did I do? I think I just copied a blank space. Lol. Copy this, paste over here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Control S and remove the spaces. We don't need any spaces. And if there's a space, you can see it creates a gray outline kind of. If there's no space, it will capture the entire thing. That is how it should be. We'll click on file and click save as, save. Now save the file. Then again we need to go back to the terminal, and then what we need to do is we need to build a React app. Again, we are rebuilding. because we have changed the structure. We have changed the hosting address. It was running on localhost. Now we have deployed it onto this backend instance. Earlier it was running locally. Now it's running on this backend instance into the machine, which is E2 standard 2 machine, and it's located in US East 4. So let's wait. Do not click anywhere. Again, I'm saying do not. As you can see now, the build is complete. Now we'll copy the new application code into our cloud storage bucket via this command. This RM stands for remove, and this RF stands for, this is minus RF, it's forcing it. So anywhere if you come across the slash F, something like that tag, so it's basically forcing it. So if it encounters any problem, even though it will encounter any problem, it will just force it and do the steps which we just specified in the syntax. So now we are going to deploy the front end instance. So copy this, keep this command copied, come back here, paste it over here, hit enter, come back to the instructions, let it get completed. Now we'll be configuring the network. We'll be applying some firewall rules. This is FW stands for forwarding rules, and this, I think it's no, it's not forwarding. It's just firewall rules. So FE stands for front end, B stands for backend. So we'll start with the front end. This is done. Yeah, this is done. This is up and running. So front end instance is also up and running. Earlier we created the backend. Now we created the front end. Now we are defining the firewall rules for the front end first. Now the rules are properly done. Allow the TCP port 8080 and deny. There's no port in denial. So every port would be, I think, no, allow is basically TCP 8080. So this port is allowed. And in denial section, we have not specified any type of port. So yeah, pretty much the firewall for front end is set. Now we'll copy the backend area. Now just copy the backend area and just paste it these firewall rules for the backend. It's configuring the firewall. This should be quick. Come on, come on. Yeah, it's done. Now we are allowing TCP 8081 and 8082 on the backend. Now we'll just see whether they are properly up and running. So G Cloud is basically the syntax. Compute stands for compute engine, and then instance is for the instance, and list is listing the instances which are running, which are dead, which are just created in the specified project or whatnot. So yeah, backend instance is properly up and running with this external IP. Internal IP is not required as of now. Front end is up and running properly. It's in this zone, and the machine type is this. External IP is this. So we'll keep this in handy as well. Copy this. Come here. This is the backend. This is the backend instance IP. Keep it like this. Backend instance. Now keep it as front end instance IP. This is the external IPs. I'll write it as well. External IP. I don't want to write it again. Copy, paste. Okay, done. So we'll just cross verify. It's the same. Perfect. Perfect. Come on, let's get back to the instructions. Now it says that it may take a couple of minutes for the instance to start and be configured. 3 minutes. Then open a browser and a new browser tab. Browse to this to access the website. Okay, let's try this. Earlier we saw that the product and order space were not working because we had not deployed anything. Now it should work. So yeah, let's copy the syntax. Copy. In this page only, in this private window on the console, I think it would have got closed right now. So be careful. Paste. In the front end address, remove this and also remove the brackets. Now we need that front end address. Copy this address, copy, paste it over here. It should give us a page. Yes, it's running. Now the products and order space should be up and running. Let's wait for some time. It's loaded. Now as you can see, this product page is nicely working. So we have deployed it properly and this order page is also working. So great. Now you can close this. You can close this. Come back here. Come back to the instructions. Now let's see. Pretty much done. Now we'll be creating some instances again. And yeah, we are creating a managed instance group. We're creating a group of instances, okay? So which can be managed easily. So we'll have to stop the instances which are already running as this front end is, as this backend is running, this front end is running as well. Copy this. We'll stop the front end first. Copy this. Come on, faster. This can be fast on your machine because it depends on the internet connectivity as well. Even though I'm on Wi-Fi, it takes a couple of time. So let's wait until it gets stopped properly. And after we have stopped those instances, we'll write this code again to see whether the status is stopped or running. So it should be stopped. As you can see now, the front end instance has been stopped. Now we'll copy the backend instance code to stop the backend instance. Now we'll copy this command, keep it copied. After the backend also gets stopped, we'll paste this command again and see whether the instances are stopped or not. As you can see now, both the instances are stopped. Let's verify it by copying this code and we just pasted that code again. It should give us as terminated terminal. That's stopped. Perfect, perfect. Now it's the same. I mean, yeah, we need to create an instance template. We need to create an instance template for each of the from each of the source instances. That is the front end and the back end as well. So we'll creating an instance template. Templates are basically used to be defined inside a group because we're creating some instance groups. So we cannot directly insert the instances into the group. We need to create some templates so that the hierarchy goes as instances, then instance templates, then instance groups. I will check whether the instance templates list are properly there or not. So you can see the difference over here. That here we are just listing the instances, but in this command we are listing the instance templates. There's a difference. We can see these were the instance templates we are creating, and these are properly created. So yeah, let's delete the backend. Now we are deleting the backend instance which is on the VM. We're just reducing the load on the server. Press Y, hit enter. Now our backend is deleted. Now we are going to create a managed instance group, which I just said that instance groups contain instance templates, and instance templates would be containing the instances, something like that. So yeah, it's be more or less it follows a hierarchy. Now we are just focusing on this front end wala part at first. This FE stands for front end, fancy is just the store name. MIG stands for managed instance group. It's just the naming convention. The zone is already set in the setup and requirements. Now we are just naming the instance name as fancy FE, that's front end, size is 2, and the template is fancy FE, which is just created above. So front end is already done. Now we just copy the backend part. The front end is done. Paste the backend part. Come back to the instructions page as this will take some time. Now what we need to do is copy this particular command, paste it over here. We're just specifying the ports for the front end and back end on this managed instance groups. As you can see, this is the fancy backend managed instance group. We're specifying these ports, paste it over here. Now we are going to configure some auto-healing policies. Auto-healing is basically, let's say your server is having some load and it's getting some issues. So we'll be creating some health checks. It will constantly tell us whether our ports, whether our instance are properly working or not. What is the proper, what is the health condition, whether it's 100% healthy, 80% healthy, something like that. So we'll be creating some health checks. Let's copy for the front end part. HC stands for health checks. This HC stands for health checks. FE is front end, D is back end. Copy this, hit enter. This takes a lot of time at times, but sometimes it is quickly done. So do not worry about it because health checks are very important in any cloud application. So we are done with the health checks as well. Now we need to create firewall rule. So earlier also we created the firewall rule, but we had deployed our app on the VM instance. But now what we did is we created some instance templates and we created some managed instance groups on which we are going to deploy that app, and we are doing the same thing, applying firewalls and stuff. But we are using instant templates just to reduce the load on the server. So yes, front end part is done. I mean, the firewall part is done. Front end part is already done. Back end is also done. We have created this firewall. Now we'll be applying the health check rules. We are going to give a delay of 300 ms. This is 3 seconds. Copy this, paste it over here. It should be done quickly, but sometimes it takes a lot of time. Copy this command. As you can see, the instance we have already provided. We have already made this health checks. Now we have to copy this part. The front end part is already done. Now we'll be applying the same for the back end part. Let's wait again. I repeat, whenever you run such commands, do not press anything unless and until you know what you're doing. So please do not press anything or hit any key on your keyboard. It might abruptly crash the cloud shell as well as this page, and you won't be able to get progress over here. We can check this progress. It says completed because this is created. Now we need to create load balancers. Load balancers are basically the traffic police which manages a lot of traffic on road. Let's say there's a traffic jam, so there would be many traffic police officers which would be directing vehicles to some routes, something like that's the same way how load balancers work. Let's say on your app there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of requests, so a load balancer will manage those requests in an efficient manner so that it is distributing the load in such a way that your server is not getting crashed. So yeah, your server is not crashing or not responsive. Yeah. So we'll just copy this command first, paste it over here. Oh my god, do not make mistake like that. Sometimes if you click like this, it copies anything which you just selected. See, so be careful. Copy it again. Again, sorry. Paste it over here. Hit enter. Copy the second command. This is pretty quick. So copy all these commands one by one and paste one by one. Now we'll be creating a backend service with respect to the load balancer. So we created a backend service for our app, but now we are creating another backend service for the load balancer. So copy the first command, paste it over here, hit enter. it would take a time. It would take a lot of time, I think. Let's copy another command. It's done. Copied the second command. We have pasted the second command as well. Copy the third command. See, the first command is in relation with the front end page. The second command is in relation with the orders page, and the last command is in relation to the products page of the application. So we're defining backend services for all the pages with respect to load balancer. Now we need to add the load balancers backend services. We'll copy this. We are the services which we just created. We're adding it to the load balancer so that the load balancers knows where the traffic is coming and how to manage that traffic. So let's say you are putting pressure onto the front end part. So the load balancer will know if front end part is getting heavy requests, so it will check this service, this front end service, this service, how to manage that thing. So that would be present in this particular service, this backend service. So we have copied this and pasted it over here. Verify the commands very well. Please be very specific. These commands look same, but the syntax is different on the naming convention side. So be very careful. I have pasted this. Now I'll go with the orders page. As you can see, always verify it over here. You should know what you're doing. So always verify the names and all the syntaxes properly. Now you're done with the orders as well. Now we'll be copying the products part. This is pretty quick, but sometimes it takes a lot of time. So no need to worry about it. Just be patient and keep doing steps, the instructed steps one by one. We are still to copy this, copy and paste this command. So once this gets created, we'll be pasting this products wala page command. It's done. Now we'll be adding the backend service for the products page with respect to load balancer. Now we need to create a URL map. The URL map defines which URLs are directed to which backend. Perfect, perfect. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just copy this command. Now we're just naming our app as this fancy map. I mean URL mapping. We're creating a URL map named fancy map. So the URL which will be mapped to our fancy store. Copy this, and the default service would be starting from the first end. So the first service which should be loaded is the front end part, because you don't want your application to directly, let's say you start your application and directly into the profile page or directly into the orders page or something like that. It should be the front end page at first. A basic rule of any website. Copy this, paste it over here. Okay, is this right? Let's verify. Be very specific. Verify each and everything. Now we'll be creating a path matcher to allow API orders this particular path resemblance to route to the respective service. So that is what I wanted to say, because let's say you open the application and directly into the order space. It shouldn't happen like that. So we are just creating this URL path mapping so that the application knows where to go, where to start from, and if the user clicks on the front end order space, so the user should be redirected to the order space. This is why we are creating the URL maps. So we have copied this. Let's verify. Yeah, we have copied this part, I think, perfectly. Yeah, we are done with this thing. Now we need to create a proxy which would be tying to the URL map. So we are adding that proxy. Now we'll be creating a forwarding rule that ties the public IP address and the port to the proxy with the proxy which is created. That is known as fancy proxy. Proxy is basically a substitute, so you don't need to be very interested on that particular word. Proxy is something which you guys are already familiar with. So we have created the proxy as well. We have also created the forwarding rule, which would be based on HTTP. I think it's done. Yeah, it's pretty quick as well. So we have successfully created the HTTP load balancer. Now we are going to update the configuration of the entire app. So yes, we'll be redirecting to the React app. So this is the path to our React app. Click on Open Editor. Get back to this .env file, not this file, not this file. I say again, I'm repeating it again. We have to make changes in this .env file, not this monolith file. Find the IP address for the load balancer. So let's take the IP address. Let's get back to the terminal and then find the IP address for our load balancer, which is just created. So the IP address of our load balancer is this. Copy this and then paste it over here. This is the load balancer IP. Perfect. So now once we are done with this thing, now we need to go back to the env file which I just showed, and then at this part we have to paste the IP address, this IP address which we just copied. So yes, we have to paste this command. I mean paste this IP address over here in both the places. Click on these three lines, then file, then save. Close this, open terminal. We have saved the file. Now we'll rebuild. Okay, so we have to remove the ports as well. So yeah, pay attention to the notes as well. So we didn't remove the ports as we are directly using the load balancer. So we don't need to specify the ports as well. So we'll be saving this file now. So it should be like this. I'll zoom it. It's not giving us. Okay, just check this whether you are whatever you'll be doing. Just follow this type of thing. And yeah, copy the load balancer IP address. You don't need to specify the ports. See, there are no ports. Save the file. and then open terminal. Now we need to rebuild the app because we have just updated the IP address to that of the load balancer. So our website is our application, web application is going to be now managed by the load balancer. So we are again installing the dependencies and then we are building the app. Now we'll be updating the front end code as well. Now we'll take this, we'll wait for this to complete and then paste this next command. We are just copying our application into our bucket. I think it's done. Not yet, not yet. Again, I'm saying don't click anywhere. As you can see, it's already done because it's pretty quick. So yes, let's get back to the testing phase of the website. We'll paste this command over here. This is optional, but still better do it. So you guys need to wait until both the services are listed as healthy. As you can see, it is still unhealthy. So we need to wait until it gets to unhealthy. We can close this by pressing Control C and then retype the command via the arrows. Just press up arrow and you'll get the same code which you just recently typed. It's still unhealthy. You need to wait about 2 to 3 minutes. It says wait 3 minutes. So yes, let's close it again by pressing Control C and then watch it again. It is still unhealthy. Now you can see the status has come back to the status of the service is healthy. So now we can move on with our further steps. So Control C again. Now we need to scale the compute engine means what? We are just going to upgrade our machine. So we are going to set auto scaling means whenever the load is, let's say you have 100 GB space and it's around 95 GB is occupied and you only have 5 GB remaining on your machine. So it will directly auto scale the machine. So let's copy the command, paste it over here, hit enter. And this was for the front end part. Now for the back end part, we'll copy this and then paste it over here. Now we'll be making a CDN. We'll be making CDN available into our project. We'll be enabling this. This is called a CDN, that is content delivery network. So we are applying this on the front end service. So let's check whether it's done or not. It takes time. Yeah, it's very quick right now. I'm pretty shocked to see that it happened so quickly. It is not very. It is rare to see something like the scaling part to get completed very quickly. It's done. Now we'll update the website. So we'll be modifying the machine type. So we are going to change it to E2 small. It was earlier it was E2 standard 2. We're changing the machine type. We'll copy this command. We come here. We paste it over here. Hit enter. Then copy this command. Come over here. Paste it over here. Hit enter. Then copy this command. Be very careful. This might happen that you'll be copying the same command again and again. So be very careful. And always compare the command which you just run. So let me check. So the last command which I ran was related to rolling action, and we were updating the front end manage instance group. Okay. So we had copied this command. Now we'll verify it once again. Okay, this command is done. Now we are good to go with this command. This command is already copied. Copy this command, paste it over here. We're just watching whether the status is properly running or not. It's running. Okay, this front end service is properly running. Control C. Again, it says wait 3 minutes and then run the following command status update. That's the same thing which we did for the load balancer service. We were waiting for the status to come as healthy. So here we need to wait until it gets to running. So paste it over here. It's running. We're good to go. Close it by pressing Control plus C. Now this is optional. This command is optional, so no need to do that. Now we'll be making changes to the website to our app. So we'll copy this command, come back here, paste it over here like this, hit enter. Then what we are going to do, we are going to copy this command. We are going to use the cat command, not operator, sorry. And we're going to see the changes in index.js. You can see this is index.js. Now we need to copy this command into monolith public directory. Okay, so it is already getting properly redirected. So we don't need to worry about it. So it is again building the website, rebuilding the website because we have made some changes in it. Then we are going to repush this code into the bucket, into our earlier bucket which we created in the task number 2. Where is the code? Yeah, here, step number 4. I think it's done. No, it's still running. Okay, it's installing all the dependencies and it's building the application, so it takes time. Let's wait for let's wait for it to get completed. Again, I'm saying do not click anywhere. You can move your mouse, you can play with the mouse, but don't press anything. It might get abruptly closed or something like that. So yeah, it might even crash your browser. So do not press anything anywhere unless you know what to do. Finally, it's done. Now we are just repushing the code into the bucket which we created in the task number 2. Copy, paste. Now we'll be pushing changes with rolling replacements. This rolling replacements which we just created right now, and we are going to force it. As you can see, force all instances means what? All the instances such as the front end instance, the products instance, then the orders instance, all the instances to be replaced to pull the update. So yeah, copy this, paste it over here. Now we'll check. It won't get updated quickly. Yes, it won't get updated quickly. It says done over here, but it will take 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah, it's done. Now it will take 2 to 3 minutes after the instances are marked as healthy. So yeah, you need to wait 2 to 3 minutes. Let's check whether it's healthy or not. If it's healthy, we are good to go. No, it's still unhealthy. So we need to wait until the status comes as healthy. Now this is considered as a last step, but we need to wait until the status is healthy. As you can see, I've already reached completion 100 on 100. You are safe to enter the lab, but it's a good practice that you see whether instances are probably healthy or not. So yeah, let's watch it again. It's still unhealthy. Let's close it by pressing Control C. Let's watch it again. Still unhealthy. Let's watch it again. Now both services are here. Now it will go to a healthy in a few seconds, I believe. Now as you can see, one service has come back to healthy status. Now we'll watch for the second service. It's still unhealthy. Let's wait for it to get healthy and then we can end the lab. Now you can see that both of the services are properly, both of the health states are, I mean, health status are considered as healthy. So you can close it. Now in this section, let's copy this first and then we'll list out all the forwarding rules list. As you can see, this is the forwarding rules list and we have targeted as a fancy proxy. This is the IP address. Now we can also simulate failure. Let's say there's some failure and we'll be simulating it how exactly the health check works and all. So you guys can explore this as well. And this is going to SSH into the machine. Let's say the instance name was fancy HTTP rule. So you can directly jump into that via SSH. That is a secure shell. That is more like a remote access. So you can go through these steps as well. This is optional. So yes, for this lab, it's pretty much done. As you can see, I've got 100 on 100 and I've tried my best to explain it to you guys in the most basic way possible. So yeah, that's it from my side. I'll end the lab and you can see I will be, if I refresh the page, I'll be getting a green tick over here as well. So yes, this lab is also done. So this was the solution for GSP662, hosting a web app on Google Cloud using Compute Engine. We'll catch you guys in the next one.